You will stand right behind him, so you can be seeing the hands up here, and you're gonna leave the hands down here. If someone looking from the front, that looks like 4 hands.
Just because of one situation, one article, you haven't been called back.
Actually, I haven't even talked to anybody about this, but
We talk a lot about reinvention, but no one talks about how painful it is to start over when your life collapses in the public eye.
what pops up on Google? The mugshot.
Divorce, career, uncertainty, becoming a co-parent. Today's episode is about resilience, rebuilding, and what full circle really looks like.
It's a pitch black and like, which way do I go? I'm rebuilding the house, I'm rebuilding myself.
Because sometimes you get asked to return to the very stage that once defined you. And for our special guest today, that stage is literal.
Artem Chigvintsev is back with us today.
Should I go whoop whoop?
These are the audience questions. We got a lot of them.
Surprise me.
From Lovely0612.
Lovely 0612. Hi.
Dating? Welcome back to the Glamorous Grind, where we talk about the real work behind the reinvention, not just the highlight reel.
You asked to see how he's doing, not just professionally, but personally. Artem has done so much in the last year since we saw him, and we're thrilled to sit down and catch up with him.
And this is about healing, fatherhood, co-parenting, and earning your way back, not just onto a dance floor, but into yourself.
All right.
I feel like we should have champagne, not coffee.
We should. Hold on. I do have some. Hold on. Can I grab? Is that okay if I go grab some? All right.
There you go. Should have
There you
videoed
go.
that. Thank you for having me.
So
It's always
awesome.
fun.
Thank you for joining us. Let's cheers.
Thank you for
This
having
was
me.
so
It's always
awesome.
fun. That's a full glass.
So your life is full
Yes.
of all the good things.
Amen to that.
I think the New Year of the Horse is starting like now, any day now, because the Chinese New Year starts in February.
This is my year, apparently. I'm like,
Oh, mine too.
when does it start? So
You're the
it's-
Year
it's
of the
just
Horse
about-
too?
Well, I'm not, but apparently for my birthday, for like when I'm born, like this is the year where it's going to be good.
Awesome.
Good.
Like, at least that's what I've read. I hope it's true.
I manifest that every year is my year. And you guys should
Not
too.
a bad thing to do. Not a bad thing to do.
So tell us, what has been going on in your life?
What hasn't?
Yeah.
That's the question. Teaching, traveling on the weekends, teaching. I mean, obviously taking care of my son, building home.
You're building a home?
Yeah,
Yourself?
yeah. Yes, myself.
Wow.
I haven't posted anything about it. I probably will. I'm trying to collect some things to post, but yeah, just really bought a property that's a big time fixer-upper and just fixing myself up.
So how much of your time does this new project take?
They complete every day, all day long, unless I have Matteo.
Have you learned new skills in construction you hadn't possessed before?
Oh yeah, like electrical wiring and roofing and yeah, like you name it, plumbing.
So-
Like I could be a good handyman, I think.
You could be a handyman to a lot of women for many reasons.
Yeah. Anybody out there? There you go.
Dancing, cooking, babysitting, watching, doing fun activities with your son.
I am a catch, ladies. Where are you?
I always think that every time we face a challenge, like in the house, I think is a perfect example. At first,
Yeah.
it's really scary, and then once you get through it, you're like, wow, I could do this again.
That's my dad. Is like eyes being afraid, but it's like it's a thing. Глаза боятся, руки делают. I'm not sure I translate in English this, but it's eyes always scared of the job, but the hands are actually doing it. So
Yes, your hands
yeah,
do it
and
anyway.
my dad's been absolute champ. He's actually here now too in the U.S. with me and his wife, my mom, and they're all living with me. And yeah, it's been cool to spend time with my parents because like I haven't lived with them. When I moved out, I was probably like 15.
Wow.
I lived without them longer than I lived with them.
Oh my goodness.
And there's a challenge to live back with your parents.
Oh, I can imagine.
It's a thing to get used to, let me tell you. I think I kind of like Americanized myself through the years of being in the United States and just kind of getting back into the kind of where I come from. Interesting, challenging, rewarding, weird.
And it must be so amazing to have Matteo around his grandparents all the time.
You know what actually was really challenging at first? Because he thought that like they're replacing his mom. But now he's like very like, okay, cool, I get it. It's my grandma and grandpa, and like, yeah, he loves it.
Is he picking up Russian?
Oh.
Not really. I mean, yes, my mom like constantly when he was like "Доброе утро," like good morning, and now he's slowly like getting into it. Like, okay, I'm gonna say that "Доброе утро." Okay, fine.
They say the
But-
basics like "Спасибо," "Пожалуйста."
No.
He
Not to
probably
that
knows it.
extent.
He probably is just not saying it yet, but you'd be surprised.
He
he's probably
loves
retaining.
imitating.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, but he just do the gibberish, whatever Russians sound like.
How old is he now?
5.
5. Okay.
The one thing I realized, every single kid has their own pace, how
Yeah.
they do it and what they do, and there's nothing you can do to change that. So, yeah.
Every kid is so different. I learned the hard way. Because with my first, I always tried to do everything by the book. Like, oh, by 1, he's supposed to do this. By 2, he's supposed...
Yeah.
And, by the 3rd, you're just like, they'll learn. Like, eventually, they get to all the things,
Yeah, well, you have at least an experience, and you can apply experience on the practice. I only have 1. So
But-
I'm like, this is it, and this is it. So I don't know. But yeah.
You're doing great, it sounds like. It sounds like
It's I mean, look, like there's always going to be a void of the female presence in my house because of that. Obviously, I think we're doing good. Building Legos. Wow, I mean, it's like a talent.
And
He's-
patience.
He's at it. He loves it. Loves Legos. Loves train. Loves airplanes, and he like got this recently. Into what do you call them? Blimps.
Blimps?
Blimp.
Что
Но
такое?
не воздушный шар, а дирижабль.
Is it one of those blown up long things?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yes. And the one, the Goodyear flying
Yes.
around. So that's what it is pretty much.
It's like a hot air balloon.
Yeah, but like with the engine and there's a propeller and
Ah.
let's actually have the pilot in it and stuff. And he was really into that at one point. So for Christmas, I had to build because you can't buy them. There's not like a toys. It's not that popular. I went on Amazon. I got what looked like it's a Zeppelin, but I didn't know it comes in like 700 parts apart, and I have to build it.
Wow.
That was a challenge.
Yeah.
How many hours
I
did
was
that take
like,
you?
It's 6 hours till Christmas. Hurry up. It took me a second, but I mean, still, it's like you do everything for your kids. So and he loved it. That was the best thing. Anyway, why am I talking off topic? Anyway, yeah, he's great.
That's awesome.
Challenges.
Does he
It's all
like
good.
dancing?
Loves dancing.
Oh, really? So it is
Yeah,
genetic a little bit.
He loves performing. He's obsessed with the performance. He's just give him
And he's not shy.
like not even an ounce of
Amazing.
shyness.
So he likes
at
when
all.
people clap and there's a big audience.
Oh, loves it.
Ella too. My daughter has done a performance for her whole family for my dad's birthday recently, and after that she tells her 2-year-old, "Okay, we have to keep doing this because everybody will clap for us." And she was so looking forward to meeting you today. I showed her videos
Aw.
of you dancing, and then she was so excited, like, "Oh, people are gonna see me and clap for me." And she was like super excited for the audience.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, he loves dancing to Kalinka Malinka.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
My mom is like notorious turning all these
I love
things
that.
on, and he's just like I should probably video him one time. And
You should.
It's
I would love to see that.
wild. I mean, he legit copies everything they do.
Wow.
He does crazy moves.
It's a fun
Yeah.
song though.
Yes.
Kalinka, Malinka,
Yeah.
Kalinka, Maya.
Anybody check it out on YouTube. Russian folk dancing, that's what it is.
It's not hard. You're just like hop, leg up, hop, the other leg
You
up.
think
it's a workout.
it's not hard.
It's hard for
super
me. I
hard.
can't do it.
It's really hard.
Is he good? He does a good job.
Matteo, oh, he kills it.
Well, who taught him?
So
You did
good.
a little bit?
No, he just watches and just copies that. Because there's the
Wow.
kids. You turn on the video and there's the kids dancing,
Ah.
like
On
full
YouTube.
on in like Russian folk costumes.
I'm
and,
gonna
like,
start
all that
turning it
stuff.
on at my house and see if my kids will learn. Before we keep going, we wanted to switch gears for just a minute. Artem, you are a world-class dancer, but today your toughest students are waiting backstage.
Can't wait. What are we doing, guys? when you do the full turn, not the other half of it, but you can go like all the way around.
But I can do this.
Yes. That's very nice.
I can do this.
Okay, that's a running man. That's a cool thing. It's gonna happen. This is the music. Pose. Different pose. Different pose. Then we do clap. Then we go step, clap, then we start running. Run. We're running. Go there. I'm doing it there. Ready? Here we go. You ready?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Ready? Okay. Go! Pose! Change! Pose! Pose! Ready? Step, clap, run really fast, go! Go! You got it. We're gonna kicks. Go, kick. You're gonna go fast. You're gonna go. You're gonna keep going. You're gonna go quick. Go quicker. Now we pose. Take your breath. Done.
Good job, guys.
Yeah?
Woo!
Got it?
So since about a year ago, when you
Is
started,
it a year ago? It's been a year?
about a year,
Oof. It's been like 10 years ago, but yeah, go for it.
what is your day-to-day now like?
Let me have a sip. My day-to-day when I have Matteo, wake up, cook meal, breakfast, lunch, pack, drive to school, and I go to work.
Well, you also teach, right? And travel.
I do teach on conventions. So during the weekends I usually go and travel around the country. So it's pretty cool gig actually. Different city every weekend. It's about 16 weekends, 15, 16 weekends a year. And you in a big hotels, a big convention, so it's a lot of kids. I mean, get to the point we get like a few hundred kids in the room. And there's different classes. So it's like comes from kids, I think they're like 5 to 7. It's like called the mini groups, then juniors, then intermediate, then there's the teens, there's the seniors, and every single group is like hundreds of people.
And these are kids who know how to dance and are
They're usually kids who compete in dancing. They go to actual like dance schools, they're part of the team, and they do it not professionally, but it's not just a little hobby. That's the kids who are like a little bit more involved than just a hobby. They want to become dancers. They're much aware of that. But it's great because you get to meet a lot of talented kids, and ballroom became this sensation over the last 2 years. Dancing with the Stars has been so successful, and I feel like they're picking up back the younger audience versus like who were known for older people who loves watching Dancing with the Stars. But now I feel like it's getting a little bit more on the younger side of it, and kids love it. They really want to do it. They want to learn, and you just teach them a combo, and you with microphone on stage, assistants, and you just teach a bunch of kids and watch them do crazy stuff.
I will say after the last time you came on to our show, there have been so many people reaching out. I mean, to me, to the podcast channel, asking when you'll be back on Dancing with the Stars. So I have to ask, is there any talk of that? Anything that we...
God, no, there's no talks.
Well, maybe they should reconsider, because clearly you have a very solid fan base who's trying to see you back on.
No, there haven't been any talks. I haven't really connected with anybody. Like, I obviously have my friends who are still part of the show, and I talk to them and see what they're up to, but not in the context of me coming back or doing anything.
So I saw something pop up on my Instagram in January that said you were back on Dancing with the Stars. So I told people at the office you're back, and turns out I was wrong. And then we learned that you were simply invited to like the 20th anniversary that show they were having.
Yeah, it was a big like an episode where they brought like every single person from the past. And
did they invite you back to that?
I guess yes.
But your invitation got lost, right? There's something that went wrong.
It's
you got
not
uninvited.
so much my invitation got lost. So actually, I haven't even talked to anybody about this, but few people reached out to me prior to that episode. They're like, hey, are you going to be there? When are you coming? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, hey, actually, I haven't got any invites. Like, I actually don't know. And then it got to the point where it's like it closes to the date where it's going to be the actual show. And then anyway, a few people reach out, and then I guess there was maybe some communication with maybe executive producers, and they're like, "Oh no, you are invited." So I guess the invitation's been sent. I'm not sure.
Is it a paper invitation or electronic?
We'll have to call and find out.
I'm not gonna reveal all the little
I'll
details.
give him a call.
But anyway, by the time it was an official, like, yes, I had Matteo, and like I just couldn't find like a nanny like the night before to like, hey, can you stay overnight
I mean,
with
as
my
a
son?
single
Like,
dad.
I wouldn't do that. Like, just
Yeah.
to go, even though it's a big deal. Like, look, I have been part of the show for a long time. I did want the show. Like, it kind of makes sense to be there, and then seeing all my partners from the past, and like, it would have been great. It really would have been great. And but it's just
So let me ask
Yeah.
you, if I can,
yeah.
do you think, and we talked about this in our last episode, of like how the court of public opinion,
Yeah.
and what that does to a person.
Yeah.
Do you think that the situation with your ex and the magazine article affected their decision to bring you back on, and all of these other things that have followed, such as this invitation getting lost in the mail? I mean, I don't want you to speculate, but if you have a feeling.
It's tough for you to answer that question, because I think some people have seen it for what it is and kind of like offered and was there for me. And I think some people maybe did not want to get involved. Nowadays in society, it's easier to believe in something that's more juicy, than something that's like, oh,
And it was the headline. Like, the headline is what catches the attention, and the headline was just awful.
I still think till nowadays I still get like weird messages on social media where people like,
Mean things?
it's not so much mean, it's like they're talking like they know, like it's wild to me. Like, obviously I would never reply to anybody who was never part of it or was there, but that's unfortunate, the reality of it.
I mean, if anyone wants to know true facts, they can go to the court file and copy all the pleadings or read the full story. That's where the full story has been disclosed, instead of speculating based on short headlines.
Well, and that's the thing. I've seen so much, and I'm not a family law attorney. I don't practice in that area, so for me it's still pretty like crazy seeing what goes on, but so many times I see people, they have personal feelings against each other after a divorce or a separation, and then they use the kids as a way to kind of get back at the other parent and take advantage of things.
Yeah,
I can see you don't do that.
I think it can easily go that route, but then again, you see, like, you have to be truly believe that you're just using that against it, because I think sometimes people think that what is right for the kids, and they're like, you might see it as like, oh, you just use a kid against me, and some people think like, no, this is actually like,
you're too nice. No, people.
He's very calm and you're very calm and easy to deal with. I think you're like a dream co-parent for people.
I think I'm like trying to be very
You're
reasonable
very
with stuff.
empathetic. That's what it is.
But at the same time, like, I don't want to be taking advantage of in certain things where it's what I don't think it's okay.
Yeah.
I can work a lot more in LA teaching people how to dance. I can really do the same thing in Napa. I can be a coach and teach and maybe go a little bit more into what I know quite well, being that. I can't do that in Napa. In Napa, there is no show like Dancing with the Stars is running, right?
Yeah.
There is going to be constant people who would want to have lessons, who would want to, like, let's say, a celebrity wants to be on a show, and they're like, hey, I want to get a crash course real quick before I go on the season, so can you help me out? Teach, like, I remember when I was teaching Nicole Scherzinger for her season when she did the season of Dancing with the Stars, and I remember teaching her like a few weeks before. She was partnered up with Derek, and they did their season. There is a lot more opportunities for me as what I do. LA would be a much better place to be. So it's like unfortunate for me, like I have to travel for my work. I cannot really be in Napa unless I grow wine, or I'm like in the wine industry or in hospitality, or, and it's possible. Like, I'm not saying like that's not something that I would do. Yeah, if opportunity presents itself and it's something I'm going to be curious and interesting at, I would go for it. I will jump on it. I will see if that's something that I'll be willing to pursue, right? But as far as dance, it's dead.
So it makes sense for you to live in LA because you'll be able to make more money. You don't have to travel. It saves you time.
Yeah.
Now, you ended up in Napa because it was Nikki's dream to have a
Because
home
my
there,
ex, she
right?
wanted to be in Napa, and it's not even her dream; it's their dream. It's her and her sister. So they always want to be in Napa, and they always dreamed to have a winery and having wine labels, and that was the case. And it made sense, you know, as a family, as a couple. Like, cool, you want to pursue your dreams? Let's go. Fine. Like, I didn't care at the time to move anywhere because I know that my work was going to be in LA. I would be travel to LA to do a season of dance, and I will come back. So it's a kind of nice to have that balance of, like, I go there for work for 12 weeks, I work really hard, I do everything that I need to do, I come back, and then I have my time off until the next season starts. It worked that way because you have a certain gig you do, it's a short period of time, and you can be sad for the rest of the year, and you do side gigs just to kind of, I don't know, like, things of the interest you can do. At this point on, I am in Napa where...
You don't have to be. You can ask
Oh,
for a
don't
move
tempt
away.
me. Don't tempt
You can ask
me.
for a move away to LA because now that you're not together, there's really no reason for you to be there. She's traveling.
Well, now he has his new house.
Yeah, but it's a fixer-upper, and
It's
he
a
doesn't live there.
fixer-upper, and
he
maybe
could
it's a
be doing better
flipper, who
things.
knows?
I mean, he already got construction skills, but he has more opportunities in LA.
I would have a better, like, a social life, better connection. But I think I'm still at the stage of, like, I'm not quite sure what the life is going to be. LA is great and tempting for certain things. Yeah, it's great for maybe, like, I get more work or I get much better social life. My friends are there. I can, you know, like there is life outside of the bubble that I'm in right now. But how good is it for my kid?
Well,
Is
I
it
don't
better?
know that answer. You would have to
Your
consider
kid.
all the
But
factors
you
there.
see, but this is the question you have. Yeah, if it would be like way better for my kid too, then it's something to consider.
Yes.
Remember that a large part of a kid's happiness depends on his parents' happiness. The best thing for your kid is
Yeah, it's
for
what's the
you
best
to
for
be
you,
happy.
but it's.
I know it's hard as a parent
Yeah.
because our innate nature is to be selfless and want to do everything to make them happy, and oftentimes we don't think about ourselves. But and maybe
Yeah.
you are happy. Maybe you're happy enough, and that doesn't matter to you. But
I'm happy if he's happy. Kids grow and they change interest and they move on and this stuff. It's like, yes, I know he needs me now to the full capacity what I'm giving him. Yes, 100%.
yeah,
When he's getting 15, 16, 14, like, he move on with his life, but I'm going to be left with the life I just contribute
Yep.
to him. And that's what the big question is like, do I try to invest into that as well, that after he bounds on his own journey, like, what is my life going
you're
to be?
still young. You can rebuild everything again.
It seems like it's like everybody said, like, oh, you fine, you'll figure it out and all of that. But it's like, even dating world is not that simple.
No.
Are
It's
you
like another
dating?
full-time job.
I'm not, but, like, had I had a conversation with, you know, with people, I have, and it's the first thing pops up. What pops up on Google,
Oh, no.
and then you have to explain yourself. And I honestly, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's
like,
uncomfortable.
I don't have a time to explain myself. I don't want, because I don't feel like I need to explain myself.
Right.
Just send them the link to this
the fact-
podcast.
and the fact is that people even, like, have that, and of course, like, I don't judge them by having, because literally the first thing you go is my mugshot pops up. Like, how would people feel? Of course, if I would, for example, go on date with someone and I decide to Google them and I see the mugshot in the thing, I'd be like, wait, let's have that conversation. But being on the other side of it, I'm like, it's draining even to get to that point.
And it's not fair to you. I mean, one situation that was completely out of context.
But you see, the things like fair, not fair, that's the reality.
And it's
Like,
true.
if you base your opinion on, like, it's not fair, it's not this,
Artem.
you're just gonna constantly, like, feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah, you can't be a victim. But look, you have millions of fans that love you and support
Is there
you.
millions of fans?
Yes, and they believe in you even despite all that. Until you proved your case in court, they still love you, they support you,
Yeah.
and I bet there'll be women throwing themselves at your feet right now. They're smart.
I don't know what I really have to offer to anyone at this point, because I'm not KG. Like, my focus is so much so, like, on what I have to do to work to get into the house. And I don't know, maybe, like, the house I got in a certain state, but I want to rebuild it and make it my own, because I want to, like, create the things with my son, and it's gonna be for him, and it's probably more of driven in that sense than me just want to get into the house. I think it was more like I'm rebuilding the house, I'm rebuilding it's like correlate to rebuilding myself within that thing. And it's been a thing. Like, it was great in the theory. I'm gonna finish that. I promise to myself I will make sure that house will be standing, and it'll be
Perfect.
great and perfect and be there for a long time. But again, like, thinking about dating and stuff, like, I don't know how you have time for any of that.
But I think, honestly, Anila, correct me if you disagree, but I think most women, like real women, I mean, there are women who are going to chase you for fame or for looks, but the women who would actually want to build a life with you are going to be so attracted to you because you're a good dad. I think a lot of normal, good women who want relationships, that's what they look at before anything else, of like, what kind of father, what kind of nurturer is this person going to be? I
mean, I hope so. I mean, it'll sound great in the paper. I mean, you see, if people truly think that way, that's...
I mean, it's hard. The society is full
great.
of, like...
People submit resumes to the Glamorous Grind. We're going to do a performance index and culture index to see if you're a good match. From what I'm hearing, you're so fresh out of it. You've dealt with a lot of pain, loss of relationship, readjusting to being a single parent. You have two parents that you haven't lived in a long time.
The way you look at it, right? There is like the two worlds of this. Like, looking at this, like, there's a guy who would like take care of his parents, has a kid, and this, and there is also a guy who living with his parents and have a kid. Do you know what I mean? It depends. It depends how you look at it. That's the desirable part of like who you are. Like, cool, you know. You can't just think for yourself anymore, and it's really important because you always have to realize how is going to affect my son. By bringing someone even in a picture of that, because I would not want my son to like feel like that's someone who is gonna tell him off, or like I would be so much protective of that I don't think I would never choose anyone else but him over.
I love that. That's so cute.
You know,
you shouldn't.
Like, and no, I should never make that choice. I should never be put into even choose.
Right.
But if I would have to, there is no fucking doubt that is going to be my kid.
Of course.
My cousin is dating a woman with 3 kids, and he came to me and he was like, you know, it's so strange. Every time I call her, they're all screaming in the background, and she always picks them over me. And he's like sitting there, and it was almost like there was tears rolling down his eyes, and he's like, I want her to. He's like, what kind of mom would she be if she didn't pick them over me?
Yeah.
Your son is very lucky.
Yeah.
Like you said before, a life, it comes in stages, right? You're in this stage that eventually time will be right. You're in more peace now than you were.
I mean, not having shit hanging over you definitely make you more like, okay, I think I can start like be my own self. But it's the new yourself. There is no like, I'm like being in LA last night. I spent night in LA with a friend of mine. And it's like he lived in the house in the area where like 2 blocks away where my house used to be when I lived in LA, when I owned the house. And it's like walking on that street is like a resemblance of that life, what it was before even moving out of LA. Like me, the show, the career, the challenges that I faced then, it sounds like a fucking dream.
Was it a good dream?
Oh, it was a great dream because like it's carefree success, like growth in your career, making great income, thinking of like what the the skies were the fucking limits, you know, like it was that mindset. You're like young, you driven, you like have goal, you want to like, it's very like clear. Because I can't really like justify myself right now. It's like, I am a dancer from Dancing with the Stars. Even that still is kind of like no one can take that away from you. But you don't have the current title of like, this is who I am today. I'm a pro dancer from the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to be on the show.
But
like that thing started shifting and people coming. It's like, oh, like it's just a very different reality that hits you, and it's. I don't know, it's just different.
So it's finding yourself again.
It's a pitch black and like, which way do I go?
Right now you're in comfort zone because you are where you are. You're not making any risky moves. You got out of a difficult situation. Finally like swimming up to get some air. to reconsider your
It's a
options.
long way up there.
So I think that what we're learning here today is that the sky's still the
Let's
limit
sum
for you.
that up. Come on.
Right?
Yes.
Because it really broke my heart when you were thinking back to your pre-baby days and saying how the sky was the limit and you were so ambitious and so full of hope. And I see this a lot with people, especially moms, but dads too. When they have children, it's inevitable that a child becomes sort of an anchor on your dreams in some ways, right? Let's like
but it's like it's
worth it.
it's a good anchor
It's
because
worth
like
it.
what are you getting? Like
But-
you getting this human who is like
So there's positives and negatives. From one perspective,
Yeah.
like at least from my experience, you have purpose that you've never seen before, that you've never felt before, that's unlike anything you will ever experience. Like I finally have something to live for and I know my purpose in this world.
yeah.
But at the same time, it's an anchor of like, I can't do so many things that I could have done had I not had kids, right?
What
and
if? That is always what if.
But it comes with, for a lot of people, it comes with a little bit of an identity crisis. Because you have a kid or you have kids and you're like, who am I now? You don't have to be one thing or another. This is what I've learned, at least. I don't know if this will be helpful to you, maybe not. But a lot of times I was like, I can't be this like ambitious lawyer. I'm a mom now. I have to calm down. But then I realized I can be both.
Yeah.
And you can be both. You can be a great dancer, follow your dreams, whatever they may be. Maybe stay in Napa if that's the best thing for your child.
You see,
But
I
this-
have a really bad disadvantage in this, and I'll tell you what my disadvantage is. I learned about myself. I can't focus on many things at once. Like I'm so used to, I so trained myself like being a dancer, right? Like being in that world. I trained myself for that.
And that's
Like-
why you were so good,
like
because you
I'm-
become
I'm
obsessed
s-
with what
like
you're doing.
this, right? And then if anything I touch, like whatever that is, actually my dad is the same way. I like this crazy story. I'll say he wanted to paint. One day he woke up, he's like, I want to paint, and he painted freaking Mona Lisa. That's the painting he chose to do. I'll show you a picture after this. It's unbelievable. Like it was. He never painted ever in his life, and I'm not painting like drawing. I'm talking like oil paint. And he painted this Mona Lisa. It's like it's back at my parents' house. It's looking phenomenal. Never paint a thing. And then he's done. He's like, I did this one off and I was done. I'm so like him. Like I focus. Like if I get really curious about something, I put all my focus into this little, like whatever that is, and I have to execute that. I cannot multifunction different things. And I feel like with my son it's the same way. When he's with me, like my brain just like shuts off and goes into this direction. And it's, I get it would be like consistent. Monday, Tuesday, you take care of this. Wednesday, Thursday, Wednesday, you take care of whatever you need to take care. Like you can create that, like, okay, I can switch now. With me, it's like with my schedule, it doesn't work this way. So it's like I get them when it's always different, right?
Well, in a distracted world, that's actually such a skill set.
But it's like such a disadvantage because I can't, like it's hard for me to switch from one to another that fast. Like I actually like in a perfect world, what I would do, perfect world, whatever that is, I would like leave for 2 weeks and get something done, and I'll be doing 24/7. And that's how Dancing with the Stars works for me, and I think that's why it was such a perfect gig for my mindset. And even though like it was very hard because I know myself, like I was just diving even deeper than I should have done and take way too serious than I should have actually. Like my time, like when I started the season, it was like everything that I did during the day was to be better at that. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, I don't know. Was it effective? I don't know. I felt satisfied with that purpose. And that's so cool because then I can just, for the rest of the year, I can relax and just do things that's kind of like, okay, like I'm interested in, you know? And now I don't really like, I'm finding those projects. Maybe that's why I got build a house, because I'm like, okay, maybe like this is my thing, this is my calling. I really enjoy doing, don't get me wrong, I love doing that. Whether it's a career, I don't know. I think I'm just scared to like, let's just jump and do it as a career. Let's find an investor, find a house, flip it and sell it.
That makes
I mean,
sense.
you have a skill. You worked since on since you were a teenager. You can't give it up, honestly, for construction. You
And-
can't.
and
It's a
you
hobby.
see, like, it's also like makes like no down to like construction. Like I admire people who does that for a living, and it's a hard work. It's really is a hard
Yes.
work. But it's like I also can't neglect something that I've done for years.
People who are great at anything, like exceptional, like the top of the top in any industry, they have that disadvantage, as you call it. I
Yeah.
would call it an advantage, but they are able to focus in like a tank with no peripheral vision, and all they see is their
Yeah.
goals. They don't see anything else, and that is why that is a huge competitive advantage over everyone else in the game. That's how Kobe Bryant was. That's how, I mean, anyone you think about who has been exceptional at anything has had that skill set.
But he's in an arena where that can be shown and used.
I don't know if I'm ready to just like close that chapter completely, because I also know myself, unless I'm doing it how I want to do it and where I want to be, I don't know if I want to do it at all. I don't know if it's something in me, speaking of like still feeling hurt maybe a little bit, or it's like legit how I feel. But I know that I don't want to continuously like go, let's say, on social media and see like things pop up from the show that I've been part of for a long time, because it does make you feel like, "Oh, why am I not doing this?" You know, it does have that, the feeling of like, oh, this is what I'm good at. Why am I not? You know, like, how come? You know, it's such a small world. Like it's very, the circle is very small.
And I'm sure you are hurt by it, because you didn't just do it as a job. You put your heart and
No.
soul and
Yeah.
full energy into it.
Yeah.
And just because of one situation, one article, you haven't been called
Yeah.
back. You were amazing on
But
there.
even saying that, I still wasn't back even before anything happened. They didn't brought me back that season.
Let's Get Gritty is the audience Q&A portion of our show.
Oh my goodness, is that this question?
These are the audience questions. We got a lot of them.
Oh yeah, no, let's do it. Shockingly a lot of them. Oh god, I hope they like Did you read them before you put them down there?
I sent them to you.
Okay, good. Surprise me.
Okay, you ready? Let's see. From Lovely0612.
Lovely 0612.
Are
Hi.
you dating?
Am I dating? I'm not dating.
Sorry, Lovely. I mean, not sorry. It's probably good for Lovely.
Have you been on any dating websites?
Dates? Yes and no. I've attempted, but I just quickly was like, I don't want to be there. Yeah.
But like, do you put your real picture on
That's-
there if you sign up on a
No,
dating
what happened
site?
is like I used to have this Raya app that I was on it like a while ago, and it's like it still exists apparently. I didn't even know it still exists.
Is Raya
yeah.
a dating app?
Yeah. It still exists, so I guess I am on that still.
You're gonna
but
get a lot of
I'm
hits now.
not like I'm not in the
You're not in the place to date right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm there.
It's okay. Focus
Yeah.
on yourself.
Okay, next question from Singh Sisters Sang. How have you grown as a divorced man? Kind of a personal question, Singh Sister.
It's a very deep one. Have you grown as a divorced man? I don't think you can like. I mean, it's like it's bound to be a grow. Like you just gotta figure it out how to be a single parent. I mean, in the end of the day, that's what you call single parent.
Single parent.
Even if
Single dad.
single dad, yeah, not single parent, single dad. I don't know how to answer that, to be honest, because you can't really like justify like, oh, I've grown, I've done this better or this better. It's
From what
there's
I've
a whole
seen-
different circumstances of existing,
Yeah.
and you just do like there's now an option to fail.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah.
But you don't just do. You do exceptionally. I mean, from what you talk about, you sound like an amazing dad, because there are single dads that we see all the time that don't take it very seriously. They do what they're supposed to do. They keep their kids alive, but they don't think about their interests, their well-being, their needs. You think about all those
I
things.
came across few people in my like not recently, but I don't think I can pinpoint anybody, but I came through a few dads who are again a single dad that have their kid like once a week, and they like hang out with them after school, and then they off to do whatever they need to do. I don't think I can do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm way too emotionally involved with my son. Like
He's part of you.
yeah, like I don't know if I can like I would. It would be sad to me if my son like, oh, I just want to go hang out somewhere else. Like I would actually get genuinely sad. I would be like, oh, you don't want to hang out with me? Like let's build like let's social, like let's do things together. Like I'm always like I want that experience with my son. I don't think I could ever give up. I would never even be able to imagine life without him.
I tell my kids they're never allowed to move out. Even when they're married, I'm like, I will work so hard so that I can buy a compound for you to bring all your
To be
spouses.
next to- yeah.
Because I don't ever want to be without
Yeah,
them. They're my
yeah.
best friends.
Yeah.
Дай, посмотрю, что там.
Что там есть
Что там
еще?
интересное? Okay, from Desi Samantha. What has life been like outside of Dancing with the Stars?
God, this is like a hardcore question. What has life been like? Boring, regular life. I mean, grocery shopping, cooking.
Where do you grocery shop?
Trader Joe's, the Whole Foods, the Ralph's. I mean, there's so many stores. Costco. I just covered Costco.
Oh my gosh.
Just now?
Yeah. No, I
Just
mean, not
wait.
just now, like probably a year, like in the recent whatever time. Oh my God, this is like an experience.
When we first came
And
to America,
and-
my family was shocked by Costco. They were like, what is this place?
My son is obsessed. You know, there are stands where you try things.
Oh my God, yes. My
Oh
kids
my
are like,
God,
can we go
I'm
to
like-
the place where they give us food for free?
I know. Matteo was literally like in the back, he's like, oh, I want to try that. Like, I'm like, are you sure? Like, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay. And he's obsessed.
Okay, so from DD Rambler, I would love to hear an update on your house building and remodeling progress.
Oh God, it's coming. A lot of curve to learn. Again, like I'm doing everything myself. Well, me and my dad. Like I do have help that I can ask how things been done, whatever. But all the work and labor we're doing ourselves. But what I'm doing is getting permits, getting an architect, get an engineer, get them together, get the plans, get sorted, get submitted. It's like that's a whole another part of the world that I've never dealt before. Those logistics, and I think that's really frustrating because it takes a long time, and sometimes it's people being very difficult.
It's a lot of red tape. Red tape up the, yeah.
So you're like
Yeah.
a general contractor for yourself.
I really I actually like really like I would do that if I would get some investors who wants to invest in a project or a flip. Please sign me and I'm all in. Like
You can manage it.
legitimately. Yeah, because again, I actually enjoy that process. Yeah,
Now, how long do you think it'll take you to complete the entire
Entire
rebuild?
house?
Once, because you're very committed to finishing it.
yeah. I would love to be done before summer.
Wow.
All right, bravo,
faster
that's
than
good.
I anticipated.
I mean, I would love to be done within 2 months, to be honest.
Okay, no, realistic. time
Realistically,
estimate.
If it's all really up to me, I think 2 months I can move in.
they'll be done in 2026.
Yes.
Every episode, we do a glam tip of the week. But this week, we thought it would be great to come from you. So you've started anew and you're
Yeah.
rebuilding. So for
Yeah.
any person rebuilding their life,
Yeah.
what is your glam tip?
Glam tip for building a life. You know, I think the best tip you can have, really surround yourself with people who have like believe in you. I think that's the one. Surround with the right people yourself, because that is, I think, going to be the key, because you will focus on that positivity.
And I think it's important to remind yourself of how far you've come, because
It's very easy to
important-
forget.
You're
Very easy
very
to
self-aware.
forget.
That's what I've seen. You're extremely self-aware. I remind myself of this every day, that I have to consciously look for abundance.
Yeah.
What in my life is there? And I have a great life, but I'm exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
There's so much. And I'm always like, oh, I'm so tired. And I'm like, no, Mila, reshift. But you have so much.
Yeah.
You have some, even just waking up, or like I've been forcing myself to, like, before I take my first sip of coffee, I love my coffee, but I never notice how much I love it because I'm so tired. And I'm like, no, stop and remember, like,
Yeah.
what a privilege it is to have this coffee that you love.
Yeah, no, I do that, but you're right. Like you're taking for granted a lot of privileges you have, and you never recognize them until you hit the point where you're like, oh, I used to have so much time, or I used to do this, and I used to do that. But you only really appreciate when you're actually missing that online.
Yeah.
And that's the really like shitty nature of, I guess, being a human. Like, you don't necessarily, you do have a tendency of taking for granted things that just easy, and like, oh, you just think that's normal. You only
Yes.
see that otherwise when you don't have that anymore. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you for
This
having
was
me.
So
It's
awesome.
always
It
fun.
was so great to catch
Yeah.
up. Hopefully
Yeah.
you come back again soon.
Let's do it.
This wasn't a comeback story. It was a continuation. Growth doesn't erase the past, it integrates it. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. We'll see you next time on The Glamorous Grind.